Hey loves, welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new, my name is Christina Gisele. I'm currently a mom to a 3-year-old little toddler named Angelina, and today I'm going to be sharing with you guys a really personal and intimate story about my fertility journey. My husband and I have been together. It's going to be 5 years married, 8 years together this fall, and since we do have our daughter already, once she turned 2 years old, we really wanted to start trying to build our family again. We knew we wanted a 2 or 3 year age gap, but what we didn't know is that trying would be so hard. So with my daughter Angelina, we knew we wanted to try, and within 2 months of trying, we got pregnant. But with that pregnancy, we had loss, and I miscarried at 8 weeks. And you know, when people talk about miscarriage, it's kind of like a quiet thing that not many people share because it is very sad. It was the first time it happened to me with my daughter 3 years ago, or 3.5 years ago, and I really didn't tell many people. I really kept it to myself, or I told a friend or two that I knew went through it as well. So after that happened, we didn't want to give up, and that is part of the story and why I'm sharing with you guys, because I wanted to give women like me motivation to know that even though miscarriage does happen, it doesn't mean that you can't have kids anymore. It doesn't mean that you did something wrong. It's just, you know, a natural thing that happens, unfortunately, and it really is a loss. I know one of the reasons I didn't want to tell people is because I didn't want to hear that thing that especially older family members say, oh, you know, there was probably something wrong with the baby, it's best, it's okay, kind of trying to brush it off. But at the end of the day, a pregnancy is a pregnancy, whether it was a week old, 8 weeks old, whatever it is, it's still a loss. And it was very emotional. For me alone, it was a very hard experience. Fortunately for me, it was something that happened naturally, so I didn't have to get any procedures done at my doctor's office, but it was still very heartbreaking. So after it happened, my doctor advised me, of course they say to wait anywhere from 6 months, but I didn't want to do that, neither did my husband. We wanted to continue trying immediately, so I waited I believe I waited one cycle of getting my period back. I definitely recommend that once something like that happens and you start getting your period back, I think you have to wait till you actually stop bleeding from the miscarriage, and then once you get that first period back, keep track of your ovulation and your period so that you know when you're ovulating. So the first time around I did that, we started trying. With 2 months we got pregnant with my daughter Angelina, and when I first got that pregnancy positive with her, of course I was immediately nervous. I thought please let this baby stick. I know she's my rainbow baby, and I'm so blessed knowing now that I have her. But then I was a nervous wreck the whole pregnancy. You don't really get to, I feel fully enjoy it when you're somebody who's gone through miscarriage before, because you're always so fearful that something could happen. But luckily, you know, she's beautiful, she was born healthy, and everything was great. So moving forward to 2022, 2021, me and my husband decided when she just turned 3, so when she turned 2 last year, we decided that we wanted to start all over again. It was a weird situation because I am a nursing mom, so I didn't get my period for so long. I know I had friends that would say you still don't have your period. I didn't get my period until my daughter, literally a week after my daughter turned 2, and I nursed her till 2.5. So it was crazy. So once I did get my period, I knew, I was all right, great, this is perfect, now we can start trying. So we immediately started trying, and again, within 2 months of trying, we got pregnant. And I was so freaking happy because this was the perfect age gap, and it was gonna work out great. And of course, life happens, and unexpectedly, I had another miscarriage at 8 weeks. And what was so heartbreaking about that is that you know, now we were parents, so we knew what it was to have a child and that love. And so, you know, I told my husband too, and even with him, I think for the first time he grasped it and really felt that emotion, unlike the first time where he just didn't know. He was we weren't parents yet, so he didn't understand. So this time it was heartbreaking, crushing, really, really hard, really, really bad. And again, it happened naturally within 8 weeks. When we went to the doctor, they said like there was nothing left in me. But the weird thing about this pregnancy is 7 weeks we went to the doctor and they kind of felt like something was wrong because they were like, oh, like the baby looks smaller, like come back in a week or two. And like my mom instincts knew like there was something wrong. And then a week later, I had the miscarriage. So with that, another thing I forgot to mention is that I am an older mom. I'm in my 30s. I'm in my mid-30s right now. I'm 37. When I was trying, I was 36. I got pregnant with my first daughter at 34. So it's like, you know, I'm an older mom. It's different. And to me, it doesn't really mean anything. Women are having kids in their 40s, and that's fine. But I also knew like I would be more at risk. So I had a miscarriage, and this time around my doctor told me we should definitely wait just to be safe. You know, doctors tell you that because they just want to make sure like everything's out of your body. When I did go for the ultrasound after the miscarriage, everything was out, but he had advised me to wait a few months. He didn't think, you know, that I should rush into it. It's really up to you. So I decided like mentally I needed to like mourn this baby, because it was like, it was really, really hard this time around, because it's like your second time. And once your second time, I know you can relate if you have gone through this before, you blame yourself and you're like, what did I do wrong? Should I had not drank coffee? Maybe that glass of wine? Was I stressing too much? Like maybe I should have taken it easy working out. All these things come up and you start to like blame yourself. And I just want to tell you, mamas, that you are not to blame. It's not your fault when things like this happen. It's just like, honestly, I've come to think of it as it's just part of like nature, and it's something that happens like by chance with our bodies. Our bodies are always like changing and developing and going through things, and it's just something, unfortunately, that a percentage of women have to deal with. And that's why I want to share my story, to normalize it, because people just do not talk about it enough. Whether it's an infant or a fetus or embryo, whatever it is, like it's your child, and losing it is loss, and it's just a very sad thing to have to go through. So we decided to wait 2 months to start trying again, and it was like the longest 2 months ever, because all we wanted was another baby, another sibling. Like it made me like appreciate my daughter even more, because looking at her just made me just like just value her, because you start to think like, will this be my only child? Will I be able to have children again? And you know, that's totally natural. I definitely recommend like journaling or talking to someone, or even going to therapy, because I know for me, and especially my husband, like we were like depressed. I mean, I'm still sad about it to this day. It's very, very sad. And I definitely feel like you don't have to be like alone during something so hard like that, because it is loss. So I definitely recommend like talking to a friend or something. I know I spoke to some of my friends, and it just helped to get it out. The second time around, I was more open with telling people, and not like kind of like shameful of sharing my story, because I was like scared to tell people, whatever. But I definitely recommend that. And I realized that this is something that, as long as it takes, I'll never like give up. So I just want to share with you guys like my story, and just know that even though it feels so hard and it's so sad, you're not alone, and it's okay to, you know, to grieve, to be sad, to be depressed. And it's also okay to either want to take a break or to not give up. It's really like your choice. Having a child is the most beautiful thing ever, and it's your choice whether you have it naturally, whether you adopt, whether you have a surrogate, whatever it is. If you want to be a mother, you go for it. And if you feel like it may be too hard for you, you take that break and get your mental, you know, get yourself mentally ready again, because it is sad, and like it could take a toll on you if you're like constantly trying to like, you know, look at your ovulation. It's a lot of pressure and stress. I know people are always like, oh, you can't think about it and stuff, but to me, I'm like, how do you expect me not to think about it when I'm also trying to get pregnant, and I want to make sure I'm doing it the right way, and I'm ovulating and all that stuff. So just remember, it's really up to you. You stay strong, and you know, you do what's best for you and your mental health, and just know that you're not alone. That's it, guys. That's how much I wanted to share in today's video, and I hope that this like brings some hope and some like sisterhood to whoever is watching. I'm gonna be making a part 2 of this video and sharing like the things that I did trying to conceive after miscarriage. So I hope you guys tune into that as well, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching and for listening to me share this long story.